What's the deal, family, man? Welcome back to the Rhythms Action channel on YouTube. It's your boy Sean, and we here with another banger for y'all, man. So look, we got Making the Case. This time around, we got Magic Johnson, all right, man, the Laker legend, Showtime Lakers. You already know what it is, man. I don't really got to tell y'all much. We gonna see why he could be considered the greatest of all time, the GOAT. The GOAT of the NBA. We gonna buy Clayton Crowley, by the way. Shouts out to Clayton Crowley, man. Great videos. I love these videos. Great videos, presentation, the statistics, the information, all that. Shouts out to Clayton Crowley for the Making the Case. But anyways, we got Magic Johnson on this one, man. I shouldn't have to tell you nothing really about him. And if I do, I don't got to tell you much because we about to do it right now. You know what I'm saying? So let's get straight into this video, man. If you haven't, I already did Larry Bird. I did Michael Jordan. And I did Tim Duncan. So this is my 4th out of the 8 players, all right? After this, I'm going to do my next 4. I don't know who I'm going to do next. It might be LeBron. It might be Russell. It might be Kareem. It might be Wilt. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who I'm going to do next yet. But we going to, clear this first half off with Magic Johnson. And do it just like that. Go see my other ones if you want to see those. And let me know who you want to see next. And I'm also thinking about doing the teams. Thinking about doing the teams if I finish the 8 players. You know what I mean? Might do the teams. They got the Lakers, they got the Bulls, they got the Celtics. So if y'all want me to do that too, let me know and I'll start with the teams next. That's pretty much it, man. If you want to see more videos, you already know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe. You about to hit 25K, all that good stuff, man. I love and appreciate all y'all for real. And let's continue to be great. Let's get it.
The year is 1979. Professional basketball in America is at perhaps the lowest point in its history. No one is going to games, the ratings are garbage, none of the players are very marketable, and the product is so bad that CBS isn't bothering to air playoff games live. Things look bad. Enter Earvin Johnson.
I just want to say this, because in the Larry Bird video, we talked about this too, man. Here's how I feel. I feel like Dr. J, Julius Erving, the doctor, you know what I mean? I don't feel like he don't get enough credit for also rebuilding basketball and the popularity, the hype. I mean, before it was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, everybody really wanted to be Dr. J. You know what I mean? I'm just throwing that out there. He don't get enough credit. Nobody ever talks about him for bringing back popularity in basketball. He wasn't in the NBA until the merger, but he still brought back the popularity. And he was a major part of that, not just Magic and Larry Bird. Their rivalry is you know what I'm saying, had a little boosty, had some boosties. But they wasn't solely the only two to make it happen. Dr. J was a big part of that too. Just throwing that out there. And I'm a Laker fan. I'm a major Laker fan. So I'm just speaking real facts.
Johnson bested Larry Bird's undefeated Indiana State Sycamores in the 1979 NCAA Championship, an event that retains the highest TV rating of a game of basketball ever. When the Lakers used their #1 overall pick to make Johnson the first underclassman ever to be taken as the top draft choice, you have to wonder if they knew exactly who they just drafted. How could they have known that they had just drafted a player that would become an icon for their franchise, for their city, and for a generation of basketball history? They didn't draft Earvin Johnson, the prospect from Michigan State. They drafted Magic. Right off the bat, for whatever it's worth, Magic Johnson has the coolest nickname in NBA history. It fits him to a T and is really the name that everyone knows him by. It's not like his last name is superfluous, like with Kobe, LeBron, or Kareem. And it's not like his last name is eternally iconic, like Russell, Jordan, or Duncan. It's just Magic. Johnson came into the NBA and immediately injected it with life like he was an epinephrine pen. Magic's winning smile, charismatic interviews, and revolutionary play style introduced the league to a pulse and a personality it hadn't known since Wilt Chamberlain. Before long, he became the front.
That boy for sure had charisma. You talk about charisma. Magic Johnson used to train at he still does probably. And my old gym that I used to train at was Equinox. in LA or whatever, the sports club and shit. And I mean, bro, everybody loved him. When he walked in, the energy in the room was different. That's at the gym, you know what I mean? Everybody there got money, everybody there, you know, those people got more money than him that's there. Like, it ain't no biggie that he walking in, but the energy shifted would be different, no cap.
Frontman of a team that would be known by its own distinct nickname, Showtime, like it was a piece of theater or art in and of itself. He was the lead man of the most popular show in Hollywood. In a city full of celebrities, he was the main attraction. Not only did he have the smile and personality to carry a name like Magic, but he also had the basketball aptitude to pull off a team called Showtime. What did he do with that aptitude? He won 5 championships, a half decade's worth, and appeared in 9 finals.
5 is a lot. People talking about Jordan, his 6, but we forget Magic still got 5 though.
Only Kareem, Bill Russell, and Sam Jones have appeared in more. He won 3 regular season MVPs in a span of 4 years, won 3 finals MVPs, made 12 All-Star teams, and was selected to 10 All-NBA teams.
Talk to him.
And keep in mind that all of these accomplishments took place in a 12-year career, 11 if you want to mention his injury-shortened.
Every year All-Star. Every year All-Star. 12-year career, 12 years All-Star. 10 times All-NBA, 12-year career. 12-year career, 5 chips. Almost half the time he played, he won the championship. Come on, man.
The 81 season. Magic only spent 3 years of his playing career watching the finals from home. I spent more years trying to graduate from college.
He only spent 3 years watching the finals. Imagine you anything over 10, right? 10 or plus, right? You had a 10-year plus career, anything, and there's like some thing that you had to do at the top. The championship, the final, the sweeps week if you do news or something. I don't know. Whatever it is you do in your life. And out of your whole 10-plus year career, your whole 10-year plus, there's only 3 times you can remember not being at the top. Come on.
Playing career watching the finals from home. I spent more years trying to graduate from college than Magic spent not making the finals.
Jordan was even drafted in 84? Jordan was drafted in 84, didn't get his first one for 6 whole years. Just saying.
His HIV diagnosis came right on the heels of a season in which he finished as the runner-up for league MVP, was selected to first-team All-NBA, and competed in the NBA Finals. It is not hyperbole or exaggeration to say that Magic's career was cut short while he was still 90% as good as he'd ever been.
Facts.
Those 12 years were enough of a basketball pedigree, though, that even now, some 30 years later, he is still universally considered the greatest point guard of all time. A fact made both impressive and unfortunate considering how much more he had to give. Still, Magic's career stacks up against anyone else with a claim to basketball's highest throne. And the legend surrounding Magic Johnson is rooted in the undeniable truth that Magic Johnson is the best passer in the history of basketball.
Unquestionable.
With the ball in his hand, he was no longer a basketball player. He became a force of nature. His move.
Who would y'all say is the second best passer of all time, though? LeBron? Nah. Maybe LeBron. Who's the second best passer of all time? You're talking stats. I mean, I know Bird got stats. But I don't know.
Movements became sublime and fluid. These passes aren't coming from Magic. I refuse to believe that any human could do this kind of stuff so routinely without divine intervention. These passes are coming from the basketball gods, and Magic Johnson became their instrument. To convince you, I shouldn't need to show you anything other than his ability, but the stats bear it out. Magic has the highest assist per game average.
I was gonna say John Stockton was in my head, but he also played with Karl Malone, and Karl Malone like second in points, bro, in like all-time points, second. And I was gonna say Jason Kidd, 'cause I remember he used to have dumb assists too, but he wasn't really flashy with it. It was just like regular assists.
Ever, and also has the most assists in NBA playoff history.
Oh, okay. See, there we go. That's why John Stockton, LeBron James, Jason Kidd. Yeah, for sure. Larry Bird up there. I already knew he was going to be up there. You got your GOATs, of course. certain goats. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 8 players on the making the case on this assist list. There should be a 9th player. His name's Kobe Bryant. You should put him 9th. Clayton.
Magic's skills extended beyond just passing, though. Too big to be guarded by traditional point guards and too quick to be guarded by slow-footed forwards, he created matchup problems every time he brought the ball across midcourt. His speed with the ball was unrivaled, and accompanied with his remarkable rebounding proficiency, was a key feature in the Lakers' fast break offense. He was adept at finishing with either hand, something he did often thanks to his underrated first step.
Ambidextrous.
Years of practice by himself and with Kareem helped Magic develop a high post game that added yet another dimension to his offensive skill set. Magic was also adept at picking his opponent's pockets, leading the league in steals per game twice.
Wow.
This skill set is made
That boy was a defender. Nobody ever talks about him being a defender.
even more impressive when you remember that Magic was the same height as Karl Malone. That might be my favorite thing about Magic, that he was a true, authentic point guard who happened to be 6'9". It wasn't like with Tim Duncan.
True. He wasn't like LeBron, where it was like, okay, this is a small forward, damn near power forward playing point forward. They started calling him point forward. They didn't call Magic a point forward because he didn't play like a forward. He played like a guard, and he was a guard, but he was just tall. They even made him play center in his rookie year. I'm sure they're gonna talk about that. Let me not.
Duncan, who played power forward but people say was actually a center, or how James Harden is listed at shooting guard even though he plays more like a point guard. Magic was an honest-to-God point guard who could also play every position on the basketball court. As an individual defender, Magic was capable, never a lockdown guy, but he was as versatile and as switchable as they come. And with such solid rebounding numbers, there were no holes in Magic Johnson's offensive game. When I say that Magic immediately began making an impact on the NBA, I do mean immediately.
Nice.
His rookie year is still one of the most successful campaigns a first-year player has ever had. He took over the job as starting point guard and helped guide the Lakers to 60 wins and a berth in the NBA Finals, where the Lakers faced Julius Erving's Philadelphia 76ers.
Irving.
The series was competitive throughout, with each contest being decided by 10 points or fewer through the first 5 games.
Hey, remember they said Magic Johnson saved the NBA. Don't forget Irving was already there, man. Irving was already there. He was making these young niggas want to ball again. Irving was making the young niggas want to ball again.
Game 5, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the reigning league MVP and the Lakers' best player, badly sprained his ankle. Kareem was able to return and will his team to a 5-point victory, putting the Lakers ahead in the series 3-2. With only one more win needed to clinch the title, Kareem was ruled unavailable for Game 6 in Philadelphia. Magic was then called upon to start the game at center and try to replace Kareem's 33-point-per-game average in the series. Magic answered that call and delivered one of the most memorable basketball performances by any player ever. 42 points, 15 rebounds,
Unreal.
7 assists,
Rookie
3 steals,
year.
and a block.
Rookie
All as a
year.
20-year-old rookie playing on the road on basketball's
Crazy.
highest stage. For his efforts, Magic was named Finals MVP, the first and only rookie to win the award.
Crazy.
In the years that followed, Magic's basketball journey would be inextricably linked to that of Larry Bird. It's nearly impossible to talk about one without mentioning the other. In my Making the Case video for Larry Bird, I brought up arguments that could be used in favor of Bird's superiority. And because this is a video about Magic's claim of supremacy,
Let's talk
I
about
figure
it.
I ought to do the same for him.
Let's talk about it.
You first have to give credit to Magic for being the most decorated player during perhaps the most talent-laden period the NBA has ever seen. Including his finals opponents, Magic faced competition like Olajuwon and Sampson's Rockets, Tom Chambers' Suns, Mark Aguirre's Mavs, Isaiah Thomas's Pistons,
Bad
Moses
boys.
Malone and Dr. J's 76ers, Michael Jordan's Bulls, and Bird's Celtics. Magic's detractors might try to devalue his team's success by pointing out that he played for a remarkably talented team thanks to a brilliant front office. Because of his team's talents, these detractors say, Magic can't be individually credited for their success. In the interest of
That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. That's the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard in my life. Because then who's the GOAT? If Magic can't be the GOAT because he played with the Lakers, certainly Larry Bird can't be the GOAT because he played with the Celtics and they had a squad too. Michael Jordan can't be the GOAT because he played with the Bulls and they had a squad. Kobe can't even be considered in the top 15 because he had Shaq with him, and all types of other people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I hate arguments like that, bro. Like, the reason the team is good is because they have good, certain players can make a whole team better. You know what I mean? Like, certain players make a whole entire roster better because of what they can do and provide and open people up, open up space, open up the floor, etc., etc., better passing, better ball movement, better leadership, etc. Sometimes you take that one player away, replace with somebody just slightly a little bit less, and that whole team goes to shit potentially. Just throwing that out there, man.
Making Magic's case, though, I'd first acknowledge...
I hate people say that for anybody. Or they use the reverse and make the excuse that somebody had a terrible team, and so they're like the GOAT of all time now. Like LeBron got to the finals with like that Cleveland team, so he's the GOAT automatically. Like, nah, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. Sorry.
Acknowledge that yes, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the best basketball player in the world for nearly the entire 1970s and had already led a team in Milwaukee to a championship by the time Magic arrived in LA. Yes, James Worthy was one of the most polished and accomplished prospects to come out of college basketball in some time. And that's not to mention other pivotal role players like Michael Cooper, Kurt Rambis, and Byron Scott, who all played outstanding basketball. I acknowledge all of that, but I'd argue that the greatness of the Showtime Lakers does not take anything away from Magic's abilities as a player or as a leader.
Exactly.
If anything, it reinforces the fact that Magic is one of the most effective leaders basketball has ever seen.
Exactly.
By the start of the 84-85 season, he had organically flourished into the alpha dog of the team and respectfully taken the torch from Kareem without a power struggle. It's one of the only times in NBA history that there was a peaceful transition of power from one player to the next. Pro basketball is like 15th century England in that sense. There are no peaceful transitions of power. The fact that Magic was able to earn the respect and commitment of his teammates, especially one of the most historically dominant players ever in Kareem, is a testament to Magic's greatness.
Right.
Beside the departure of Norm Nixon, the Lakers' previous point guard, there were no ugly breakups. Cooper, Rambis, Scott, Worthy, and Kareem all retired at one point or another as Lakers. If you won't believe me, listen to the words of Bill Simmons, former ESPN columnist, current CEO of The Ringer, and noted Boston sports supporter who grew up rooting against Magic. Simmons says he's the single best leader in the history of the sport. Nobody extracted more from teammates, whether it was an all-star game, a mundane affair in December, or any playoff game. It's also important to note that Magic was ready to win right from the get-go. Like I said earlier, he won Finals MVP as a rookie and finished as the runner-up for regular season MVP in his final full year. Unlike nearly every other player who's ever laced him up, there was never a year where Magic's productivity dropped below his eye-popping, jaw-dropping standards. 12 years of Magic Johnson means 12 years of top-shelf, undeniable, incomparable greatness.
Let me just say this. I'm like forgetting to react to certain parts, which y'all probably not tripping on. But these highlights, like let's just keep it a buck. Just looking at these highlights alone, like I've watched 4 making the case. This is my 4th making the case so far. This by far is the best, just like B-roll highlight footage I'm seeing. You know what I mean? Damn, somebody got 808s on that shit, bro. We in Atlanta. We in Atlanta in this bitch. This shit bumping. Anyways, damn, what was I saying? Yeah, so the B-roll, like basketball clips, by far, these are the most entertaining, best clips I've seen out of all the players, by far. But it's Magic, it's Showtime. I mean, what you expect?
Magic's critics might say that he didn't score enough, that his defense was too suspect to be considered the greatest, or that his play wouldn't translate into the league today. To all of that, I'd argue that one of the best things about basketball is how many different ways there are to win. You can be a 6'3" sharpshooter like Steph Curry and revolutionize the game, a 7'1" behemoth like Shaq who dominates the league, or anything in between. There are so many viable ways to play the game that have all resulted in championships, MVPs, and the like. Magic's
true,
play style
very true.
allowed him to control the game with a vice grip and tailor it to his specific brand of basketball. What's a player supposed to do when it comes to how the game might evolve in the future? When people talk about the way Magic played, they sometimes talk about it almost like it's a kind of historical casualty. That bewilders me. What Magic did worked really well. Why should he have done anything different?
He was like a revolutionary, like Steph before Steph. How Steph fucked him up was he was hitting threes like ain't nobody ever seen before. Threes off the logo, catch and shoots, threes without looking, threes behind the back, three-pointers on three-pointers. How he doing a three-pointer when he already just hit one? He just hit a three-pointer, how he just hit another one, and we ain't even took the ball out of bounds yet. Like, he was doing some weird shit, right? That people are starting to figure it out now, but when he first was doing that, nobody could stop it at all, and they still having problems. With Magic, nobody was seeing passing like this, but outside of the only other person I seen do some crazy passing was Larry Bird, so that makes sense. But nobody's doing passing like this, you know what I mean? Moving the ball like this. So what the general point guard would do, he not doing. So you can't even defend it. And if you can't defend it, then you gotta start vetting players and people to defend that, and that's gonna take time for people to adjust to that type of defense. Different, bro. You changed the game.
Different. Magic changed the NBA for the better.
Facts.
He was the first positionless player, someone who broke the mold and opened the basketball-watching public's eyes to the possibilities of letting great players do what they're great at, rather than just fulfilling the traditional roles of their size or position.
Exactly.
As the game evolves more and more into a positionless sport, Magic's influence and value only become more and more apparent. His Showtime Lakers also became one of the first teams to make the game of basketball aesthetic. The speed, athleticism, and skill we all enjoy today is due in part to Showtime and Magic Johnson.
1000%.
In my video about Larry Bird, I gave him a lot of credit for saving the NBA, and deservedly so. Larry was a pioneer of basketball and contributed immensely to the explosion of the game's popularity. But for every breath of fresh air that Larry contributed, Magic did the same. You can't talk about one without the other because it was the rivalry between the two that really saved the league.
Exactly.
The fact that they competed against each other in such a high-profile game in college, had nearly polar opposite personalities, were of different races, played for the two most historic teams in the country, and met each other multiple times in the finals, all cements theirs as the defining rivalry of the NBA.
Yeah.
Despite the differences in their personalities though, their games were remarkably similar. Team first, success-oriented mindsets, and proclivities for passing.
Look, what was I saying? Look at some of this passing. The only other person I seen doing it was
Remarkably
Larry.
similar. Team first, success-oriented mindsets, and proclivities for passing were trademark features of both their styles. Those styles met 3 times in the finals, each in legendary fashion. Magic would have the last laugh though, with 2 championship series wins against Bird. By the time the 1987 finals, their last series against each other, rolled around, Magic had developed a killer instinct and flair for the dramatic matched only by his rival. In Game 4 of the series, with the Lakers leading 2-1, Magic all but iced the series with the most legendary shot of his career.
The hook.
Down 1 with
Sky
seconds
hook.
left in a raucous Boston Garden, Magic ripped the heart out of every Celtics fan with his baby sky hook.
Magic with a hook shot, scores with 2.
Unreal.
And the Celtics trail by 1 with 2 seconds to go.
It was the moment of the '87 finals and the shot of Magic's career. He capped off the most remarkable season of his career by vanquishing his most intense rival for the second time in 3 years. Bill Simmons described how momentous the shot and ensuing championship win was for Magic's legacy. Not even the biggest Celtics fan on the planet could deny it any longer. Magic Johnson was just as exceptional as Larry Bird. This point is echoed by Bird himself in a clip I'll leave you with. After the game, Bird remarked how impressed he was with Magic's performance and ability as a basketball player. It's only an 11-second clip, but there's a moment in it that just strikes me. There's a split second where you can see the disbelief in Larry's eyes as he tries to come to terms with the fact that the game, and likely the series, is over. In that second, you can almost see him ponder all of the work he put in during the season. All the games he played and the shots he took, all in the hopes of getting a chance to beat his old rival. And then he has to reconcile the fact that that old rival got the better of him, plain and simple. Bird wasn't alone in having to reconcile being beaten by Magic Johnson. Magic still maintains the highest win percentage for a career in NBA history. It's the same thing countless players and coaches had to come to terms with during Earvin Magic Johnson's 12 magical years with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Right.
Here's Bird, summing it all up with a look.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen, you know. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
Hey there, friend.
Damn! I wish I could have heard more of Larry Bird speak on that. I never seen that video right there. I was like very intrigued, man. But damn, that was making the case Magic Johnson, bro. What y'all think of that? What do y'all think of that? Let me know in the comments what's going on. What you thought of that video, man. It's Magic, bro. What can you... Well, I mean, we already knew what he was going to say. The him and the Bird thing. I mean, at the end of the day, I've talked to old school Laker fans. They respect Larry. They put Magic ahead. You talk to Celtics fans. They respect Johnson. They put Larry ahead. There's never going to be an answer to it. Whoever you rock with more is who you rock with more. I rock with Magic, but I respect the hell out of Larry. So that's just what it is. I'm a Laker fan, man. What can I say? That was it, though. Be on the lookout for the next one. Like I said, I'm either got Kareem. I don't know. I don't know who I'm going to do next. I kind of want to do Bill Russell because I just did Magic. So now I want to go back to like a Celtic and do the Bill Russell one. So I might do that one next. Stay on the lookout for that. I appreciate y'all. Remember, real's rare and real always reaches everyone. I love y'all. Peace.